180. In a military camp in Germany, a dying Roman emperor is contemplating the world. This emperor had quite a troublesome reign. In his 19 years of rule, most of the years were filled with war and disease. The emperor had to fight off German tribes for the last few years, had to deal with the death of a brother, a wife, and even had to deal with another claimant to the throne of Rome. This man was Marcus Aurelius Antonius Augustus. And even though his reign was filled with tragedy and hardship, he was a man who knew how to handle it. Marcus Aurelius was not only an emperor, he was also a philosopher. During these last years of his life, he wrote down his philosophy in the form of little reminders to himself, little notes, which were published after his death and are now commonly known as the Meditations. In these writings, he attempts to maintain his Stoic philosophy through regularly reminding himself of its core aspects. He not so much adds new characteristics to the philosophy, but he does summarize Stoicism's core values in a pretty good way, which is probably why his Meditations are the most well-known piece of Stoic literature. Stoicism is a philosophy that looks at the world as a chaotic place, a place where random things happen outside of our comprehension. It views the world as a place that undergoes constant change. For a Stoic, however, these changes are to be seen as only part of something greater, something unifying that connects every person, every event, every tragedy, every victory. It is the essence of existence, similar to the Taoistic way or to the Force, at least the Force in its original concept of the first 3 movies, until midichlorians kind of ruined that concept. For the Stoic, all of existence, in its chaos and randomness, simply follows the nature of itself. It is the way it works. That just means that the nature of our reality is to be chaotic. But a Stoic doesn't let himself be discouraged by that, as the Stoic knows that no matter what happens, it happens according to nature, and thereby he can remain calm about it, and it cannot be either good or bad. As Marcus Aurelius says, nothing happens to any man that he is not formed by nature to bear. The Stoic believes that nothing of what happens is either good nor bad. It's usually only our interpretations of it that make things good or bad in our reality. That means that if we can adopt a carefree attitude, aka we choose to remain calm and collected about any event or person, then we will be able to handle anything. What makes Stoicism so special to many is that not only is it a philosophy, but in a way it is also a way of life. See, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius didn't just think about the world, but also try to live according to their philosophic values. Whether this is actually possible is a different question. The standards held to the Stoic sage, aka the perfect Stoic man, that lives ever tranquil and according to virtue and his nature, and who is completely unmoved by any outside event, are so high that many Stoics were unsure whether one had actually ever existed. It is true that you cannot completely shut off any of your feelings towards the times of storms in your life. We will always feel emotions, feel weakness, feel doubts. It is what makes us human. But I believe that what makes a true realistic Stoic is that he is able to accept those feelings and not reject them, but that he can also choose to act based on what is right, even if he doesn't feel like doing so. If you find yourself in a storm, you might want to enter the eye of the storm. Don't leave the struggle, but find a quiet place within it. Accept the struggle and strengthen yourself. A simple way to do that is, for example, by meditating, or by, going on a walk and reflecting on your struggle logically and from a higher perspective. Stoicism also encourages you to remind yourself of your death, so you do not waste time, so you live your life productively. It teaches you to accept that in the grand total of things, all the chaos that troubles you is meaningless, and you will soon be forgotten. In the eye of the Stoic, all you can do is accept this fate, live in virtue, and not care about what others think of you, what the world thinks of you. Because if you know that your life is essentially short and of little value, you shouldn't care too much about little or big things. It teaches you to believe in yourself, too, to see things for what they are and not what you think they are. I see that my son is sick, but not that his life is at risk. So always stay within your first impressions and don't add to them in your head. This way nothing can happen to you. Marcus Aurelius teaches that the perspective you have on life is more important than outside events. Because while you cannot control outside events, you can indeed partially control your thoughts. And if your thoughts are stoic, they may help you become upright, actionable, virtuous, accepting, and calm. In one of my favorite words by the emperor, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Thanks for watching.